Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the Midday News. The headlines. 4-day-long special vaccination drive Tika Utsav progresses smoothly across the country. Prime Minister urges people to follow 4 principles: each one vaccinate one, each one treat one, each one save one, and people-led creation of micro-containment zones to fight the pandemic. India becomes fastest vaccinating country in the world, administers over 10 crore doses of COVID-19 vaccine in 85 days. Delhi government bans all gatherings except marriages and funerals till 30th of April. Public transport and cinema halls to operate with 50% capacity. Campaigning in full swing for the 5th phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. Election Commission prohibits entry of politicians in violence-hit Coach Bihar district of West Bengal for 72 hours. 5 terrorists killed in 2 separate encounters with security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. And in IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad to clash with Kolkata Knight Riders this evening. As the number of COVID cases are on the rise again, we appeal to our listeners not to lower their guard, take all precautions, and all those above 45 years to get vaccinated without any hesitation. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The 4-day-long special vaccination drive Tika Utsav is progressing smoothly all over the country. The vaccine drive, which began today on the birth anniversary of social reformer Jyotiba Phule, will culminate on 14th of April on the occasion of birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi appealed to everyone to follow 4-fold principle as the nation kickstarts 4-day special vaccination drive Tika Utsav today. Emphasizing on the need to follow both personal and social hygiene, Mr. Modi urged citizens to imbibe these 4 principles, which include each one vaccinate one, each one treat one, each one save one, and people-led creation of micro-containment zones. The Prime Minister said the Tika Utsav is the beginning of second big war against the COVID pandemic. He also urged citizens to ensure zero wastage of COVID vaccines and asked those eligible to be vaccinated to get their jabs.
11 अप्रैल ज्योतिबा फुले जी की जन्म जयंती है और 14 अप्रैल बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर जी की जन्म जयंती। क्या हम 11 अप्रैल से 14 अप्रैल पूरे अपने राज्य में टीका उत्सव मना सकते हैं? एक पूरा वातावरण क्रिएट कर सकते हैं टीका उत्सव का। एक विशेष अभियान चलाकर हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा एलिजिबल लोगों को वैक्सीनेट करें, तय करें हम टीका उत्सव में जीरो वेस्टेज होगा। वो भी हमारी वैक्सीनेशन कैपेसिटी को बढ़ा देगा। ऑप्टिमम यूटिलाइजेशन ये हम लोग करें और इसके लिए हमें यदि वैक्सीनेशन केंद्रों की संख्या बढ़ानी है तो उसको भी बढ़ाएं। पहले एक बार देखें कि हम 11 से 14 अप्रैल किस प्रकार से चीजों को मोबिलाइज कर सकते हैं।
Mr. Modi said during this time we have to move towards optimum utilization of the country's vaccination capacity. He added that this will also in a way increase our vaccination capacity. The Prime Minister asserted that the nation's success in the fight against the pandemic will be determined by the fact that people don't step outside their houses without pressing needs. Entrusting women with the job of getting every eligible beneficiary in the house to get vaccinated, Mr. Modi stressed that our success will be determined by how we wear masks and follow other COVID-appropriate behavior. He expressed confidence that with public participation in these 4 days, at the individual level, at the level of society, and at the level of administration, the country will be able to achieve a major breakthrough in its fight against COVID. In Uttar Pradesh, the special Corona Tika Utsav is going on across the state and a large number of people are taking part in the drive. Political and religious leaders, doctors and social workers have appealed to get more and more people vaccinated during the birth anniversaries of Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and Baba Saheb Dr. Ambedkar. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath visited one of the vaccination centers at Lucknow, Shakti Bhavan, to inspect the vaccination drive. He appealed that the eligible people should join 4-day Tika Utsav. People above the age of 45 years can register themselves at their nearby vaccination centers to be part of the campaign. He told that vaccination drive is running at 6,000 centers in the state. He said adequate availability of oxygen, medicines, medical equipment and backup should be maintained in all COVID hospitals. He also asked to increase the beds in level 2 and level 3 COVID hospitals. MS Yadav, EIR News, Lucknow.
In Bihar, a large number of people above age of 45 years are approaching vaccination centers across the state for COVID-19 vaccine. The state government has said 4 lakh people will be vaccinated each day during ongoing Tika Utsav. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has appealed people to come forward for vaccination to contain corona pandemic. Mr. Kumar said additional arrangements have been made for mass vaccination. 2,52,835 people took vaccine during the past 24 hours in the state. Gujarat has also launched a special vaccination drive against the COVID-19 to cover the maximum number of people today. More than 89 lakh persons have been vaccinated in the state till now. According to the State Health Department, 2,87,217 persons were vaccinated in the state yesterday. Our Ahmedabad correspondent has filed this report.
Gujarat has completed the vaccination of more than 78 lakh persons for the first dose, while more than 10 lakh persons have received the second dose. The State Health Department is organizing vaccination camps in the residential societies. Meanwhile, Gujarat has registered more than 5,000 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday. 2,535 patients have been recovered and discharged from the various hospitals. Maximum 1,409 cases reported from Ahmedabad, while Surat recorded 913 cases during the last 24 hours. 49 patients have lost their lives due to COVID-19 in the state yesterday. Chief Minister Vijay Rupani has reviewed the COVID-19 situation in Patan district of North Gujarat today. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
Along with the nationwide campaign, immunization drive is being conducted from today in Madhya Pradesh. During this 4-day festival, all 51 districts have been targeted for vaccination against COVID. A report from our Bhopal correspondent.
During the festival, people over 45 years of age are being vaccinated. Public representatives, religious leaders, community and voluntary organizations are encouraging eligible beneficiaries for vaccination. People are being made aware to get vaccinated through promotional vehicles in districts adjacent in Maharashtra. More than 300 vaccination centers have been set up in different areas of the capital Bhopal. Despite the lockdown at various places, people are reaching for vaccination with enthusiasm since morning. Rashid Ahmed Khan from Bhopal.
The Tika Utsav has brought a new sense of confidence and enthusiasm among Mumbaikars. People are visiting the vaccination centers in Mumbai as well as other parts of Maharashtra. Due to the adequate supply of vaccines to Maharashtra, the state has become the first state to administer 1 crore doses to the beneficiaries. More from our correspondent.
Mumbai had received 99,000 more doses of the vaccine yesterday, and due to this, the vaccination drive has gained more momentum today. The beneficiaries who visited the BMC vaccine centers today expressed satisfaction over the arrangements made in the vaccination centers by the authorities. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar had said that Maharashtra has received 1 crore and 10 lakh doses and the state has 15 lakh doses to cater the requirement of the people. Maharashtra's Principal Health Secretary Pradeep Vyas has said that the state has achieved a major milestone by crossing the 1 crore mark in the vaccination drive in the state a short while ago. Pune is leading in the vaccination drive with almost 70,000 doses per day. Shailesh Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Assam, target has been set to cover 1.92 lakh people during the Tika Utsav in the state. Senior health officials said that vaccines are being administered at 592 sites. Along with vaccination, number of testing has also been increased. Meanwhile, 405 fresh COVID-positive cases were reported in the state in the last 24 hours. Overall, 14.52 lakh people have been vaccinated against COVID so far.
Along with rest of the nation, Tika Utsav commenced today in Sikkim. In Gangtok, vaccines are being administered at the Urban Primary Health Centre and Paljor Stadium. On the occasion, Chief Minister P.S. Tamang received the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine at STNM Hospital near Gangtok. A report.
Speaking to reporters, Chief Minister P.S. Tamang appealed to all people of 45 years and above to participate in Tika Utsav and urged everyone to follow COVID-19 appropriate behavior including hand washing, wearing of mask and physical distancing. Mr. Tamang said that mandatory RT-PCR negative certificates for tourists will benefit hoteliers and tourists. He informed that the state government is planning to initiate rapid antigen tests for tourists at Ramphu and Molli borders. He assured that the state government is not planning a lockdown. Separately, Sikkim government today notified closure of all educational institutions during 12th to 20th April to facilitate COVID-19 vaccination of all staff of 45 years and above. With Saikat Sarkar, Parijat Sharma from Gangtok for AIR.
Union Territory of Puducherry is geared up for the COVID-19 vaccination drive to prevent the spike of coronavirus disease in recent days. A report.
Lieutenant Governor Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan held a series of review meetings with the health and other line department senior officials and planned for the special vaccination drive throughout the Union Territory. A COVID vaccination Tiruvizha has been launched from today to April 14th. Arrangements have been made in all the government hospitals and primary health centers to inoculate the people above 45 years. Lieutenant Governor requested the people to make use of this opportunity to safeguard themselves and their family. Arrangements have been made to distribute free Kabasura Kudineer in all the primary health centers from today at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Already, many special vaccination camps are going on for these hotel employees, auto drivers and the bank and LIC employees. So far, 84,498 persons vaccinated in the UT. Chandramohan, AR News, Puducherry.
UNICEF has rolled out a campaign to generate awareness about COVID vaccination and to bust myths about the vaccination. UNICEF Maharashtra Unit Chief Rajeshwari Chandrasekhar shared more information about it with All India Radio.
The formative research done in January 2021 tells us that there are 4 major bottlenecks to vaccine demand. 1 is the low risk perception of communities towards taking the vaccine. 2 is the low vaccine awareness itself. 3 is the low trust in the vaccine. And lastly is the fear of side effects. UNICEF is working with the government and other important stakeholders to address these bottlenecks of vaccine hesitancy. UNICEF is rolling out the digital campaign to build public support and raise local awareness about the value and effectiveness of vaccines.
Talking to AIR, Dr. Neeraj Nishal of AIIMS, New Delhi, has appealed to all those eligible for COVID vaccine to come forward and get the jab on priority basis.
जैसे जैसे केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं, हम लोगों को समझने की जरूरत है कि वैक्सीन आपकी जान बचा सकता है. आप इस बीमारी से डरिए, वैक्सीन से नहीं. वैक्सीन सेफ और काफी इफेक्टिव है. वैक्सीन का जो प्राइमरी काम है, अगर बाई चांस आपको वैक्सीन लेने के बाद इन्फेक्शन हो भी गया, तो किसी भी सीवियर बीमारी में कन्वर्ट होने से आपकी जो बीमारी है इतने डेवलप ना हो कि आपको वेंटिलेटर पे जाने की जरूरत पड़े, इन सब चीजों से बचाने में आपकी मदद करता है. इसलिए हम सभी से यही रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि जो अभी के ड्राइव के लिए एलिजिबल है वैक्सीनेशन के लिए, वो आगे आए और बेहिचक होकर आप वैक्सीन लगवाएं. इससे न सिर्फ आप अपने आप को सुरक्षित करेंगे, बल्कि आप अगल बगल में जो भी आपके घर में, आपके समाज में आसपास आपके लोग हैं, उन सभी को आप सुरक्षित कर सकते हैं.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has assured Maharashtra government that the centre will send over 1,100 ventilators to the state in the next few days. Mr. Javadekar attended a review meeting over the COVID situation with Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar in Pune yesterday. Speaking to the media after the meeting, Mr. Javadekar said the major concern in Pune was about ventilators. In the next 3 to 4 days, about 1,121 ventilators will arrive in Maharashtra from the centre, of which 700 will come from Gujarat and 421 from Andhra Pradesh. He also assured funding from the centre for recruitment of health staff under the National Health Mission. Mr. Javadekar said Maharashtra has received 1.1 crore doses of the vaccine. There are only 3 states in the country that have received more than 1 crore doses. They are Maharashtra, Rajasthan and Gujarat.
The Delhi government has banned all gatherings except marriages and funerals till 30th April due to the rise of COVID-19 cases. All social, political, sports, entertainment, academic, cultural, religious, festival-related and other gatherings and congregations have been banned in the city. As per the order issued by Delhi Disaster Management Authority (DDMA), up to 20 persons are allowed in funeral and last rites related gatherings. Marriage-related gatherings are allowed up to 50 persons. The order said that the restaurants and bars are allowed with up to 50% of the seating capacity. The order said Delhi Metro, DTC and intra-state movement of buses will be permitted to run at not more than 50% of the capacity. The cinemas, theatres, multiplexes will be permitted to open with up to 50% of seating capacity. In view of rising COVID-19 cases in the national capital, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has urged everyone to wear masks, including the people who have taken the vaccine against coronavirus and follow COVID protocols. Briefing media, Mr. Kejriwal said today that Delhi has registered single highest day spike of 10,732 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. Terming the present situation of COVID-19 in the city worrisome, he urged people to stay at home as far as possible. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. 4-day-long special vaccination drive Tika Utsav progresses smoothly across the country. Prime Minister urges people to follow 4 principles: each one vaccinate one, each one treat one, each one save one, and people-led creation of micro-containment zones to fight the pandemic. India becomes fastest vaccinating country in the world, administers over 10 crores doses of COVID-19 vaccine in 85 days. Delhi government bans all gatherings except marriages and funerals till 30th April. Public transport and cinema halls to operate with 50% capacity. Campaigning in full swing for the 5th phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. Election Commission prohibits entry of politicians in violence-hit Cooch Behar district of West Bengal for 72 hours. 5 terrorists killed in 2 separate encounters with security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. World Homeopathy Day being observed today, and in IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad to clash with Kolkata Knight Riders this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे. Welcome back. You're listening to the Midday News. Campaigning is in full swing for the 5th phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. Top leaders of various political parties are crisscrossing poll-bound constituencies in the state. Senior BJP leader and Home Minister Amit Shah is holding rallies and roadshows in Nadia and North 24 Pargana districts today, while Dilip Ghosh, Mithun Chakrabarti and Shubhendu Adhikari are campaigning at Bardhaman, Kolkata, North 24 Parganas as well as in North Dinajpur and Jalpaiguri. Trinamool Congress leader Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is holding public meetings at Jalpaiguri and a roadshow at East Bardhaman as Abhishek Banerjee is attending rallies at Nadia and North 24 Parganas. Samajwadi Party MP Jaya Bachchan is scheduled to hold a roadshow at Kolkata this afternoon. On the other hand, leaders of Sanyukt Morcha are also scheduled to take part in rallies together in Kolkata today. The Election Commission has barred the entry of politicians in Cooch Behar district of West Bengal for the next 72 hours to maintain the law and order situation. The Commission has also extended the silence period from 48 hours to 72 hours for the 5th phase of assembly polls in the state to be held on the 17th of this month after violence in Cooch Behar district. No campaigning will be permitted during 72 hours before the close of polling in order to ensure the conduct of free, fair and peaceful elections. The poll body said that recourse to open fire by CISF personnel became absolutely necessary at a polling booth in Shitalkuchi constituency of Cooch Behar district during the 4th phase of assembly election in the state yesterday to save lives of voters lined up there
other polling personnel, and their own lives as the mob attempted to snatch their weapons.
TMC Chief and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee talked to the family members of deceased in Shitolkuchi firing in Cooch Behar through video conference today. She was supposed to meet them today, but ECI has banned entry of political leaders to Cooch Behar district for 72 hours. Our correspondent reports that 4 persons have died at Shitolkuchi when CISF personnel had to fire in self-defense and to control unruly mob. The ECI has stopped voting at the booth number 126 after the incident. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 5 terrorists have been gunned down by security forces in South Kashmir since last evening in 2 separate encounters that had broken out between security forces and terrorists at Hadipora, Shopian and Semtan in Bijbehara area of Anantnag district. Police said that 3 terrorists of Al-Badr terror outfit were killed in Hadipura Shopian encounter, whereas in Semtan Bijbehara, 2 terrorists who were responsible for killing an army jawan 2 days back were neutralized today. Arms and ammunition have also been recovered from the possession of the slain terrorists. Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police, Kashmir, Vijay Kumar said that in Shopian encounter, joint team of security forces and parents made efforts to appealed the newly recruited terrorists to surrender, but other terrorists did not allow them to surrender. The encounter at Hadipura Shopian and in Semtan Bijbehara area in South Kashmir's Anantnag district had started yesterday evening after terrorists fired upon the security forces who were launching cordon and search operations based on specific intelligence input about the presence of terrorists in these areas.
The Ministry of Civil Aviation has finalized an air bubble agreement with Sri Lanka. In a tweet, the ministry said all eligible passengers will be able to travel between the 2 countries in the near future. Sri Lanka has become the 6th country in the SAARC region to enter such an agreement with India. With this, India now has such pacts with 28 countries, including Afghanistan, Bahrain, Canada, France, Germany, Iraq, Japan, the Maldives, Nigeria, Qatar, UAE, UK and US. Scheduled international flights have been suspended in India since 23rd of March 2020 due to the pandemic. National Investigation Agency NIA has arrested Mumbai Police's Assistant Police Inspector Riaz Qazi. He is accused in Antheria bomb scare and Mansukh Hireen's death case. He was quizzed by NIA in these cases many times. It is the second arrest in the case. On 13th March, NIA arrested API Sachin Waze and he is under judicial custody till 23rd of April. Qazi was a close aide of Waze and both were working in Crime Intelligence Unit of the Mumbai Police.
World Parkinson's Day is being observed today. The day is observed every year on 11th April to create awareness about the disease among general public. The disease can cause slowness of the movements, stiffness and shakiness of the body. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Rajinder Dhamija, Head of Neurology Department, Lady Hardinge Medical College, said balanced diet and exercise can also help in preventing the disease.
There are more than 1 crore people living with Parkinson's disease in the world. Parkinson's disease is a disorder of brain in which there is a deficiency of dopamine which can cause shakiness of the body, slowness in walking and stiffness. Today we have number of drugs to treat this condition, and in case you have anyone with these symptoms in your family, in your society or at your workplace, please ask him to consult a movement disorder neurologist so that he can be treated. Balanced diet and exercise can also help in preventing Parkinson's disease.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu paid rich tributes to the great social reformer and visionary thinker Jyotirao Phule on his birth anniversary today. Mr. Naidu said that Mahatma Phule was a pioneer of women's education and a crusader against social evils like the caste system and untouchability. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid tributes to Mahatma Jyotiba Phule on the occasion of his birth anniversary. Referring to Mahatma Phule as a great philanthropist, thinker, philosopher and writer, Mr. Modi said he remained committed to the cause of educating and empowering women throughout his life.
In Myanmar, more than 80 people have been killed in the city of Bago by Myanmar security forces in a crackdown on activists. A monitoring group, the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners, AAPP, said the actual number of deaths was likely to be much higher. The killings in Bago near the main city of Yangon are reported to have happened on Friday, but took a whole day to emerge as many residents were forced to flee to nearby villages. Witnesses told local media that soldiers had used heavy weapons and had shot at anything that moved. More than 600 people have been killed since last month's military coup. Mass protests have been taking place across Myanmar since the military seized control of the country on 1st of February and declared a year-long state of emergency. In Indian Premier League IPL, David Warner's Sunrisers Hyderabad will clash with the Owen Morgan-led Kolkata Knight Riders in Chennai today. The match will begin at 7:30 p.m. IST. Yesterday, in the second match of the 14th edition of IPL, Delhi rode on a 138-run opening stand between Shikhar Dhawan and Prithvi Shaw to chase down Chennai Super Kings' target of 189 with 8 balls and 7 wickets to spare in Mumbai.
In hockey, India beat reigning Olympic champions Argentina 3-2 in the FIH Pro League match at Buenos Aires. The result sees India move ahead of Argentina to 5th position in the FIH Pro League standings with 12 points from 7 matches. Argentina stands 6th with 11 points from 11 games. The two teams will face each other again tomorrow. And in women wrestling, Indian Anshu Malik and Sonam Malik have secured the Tokyo Olympics berth in the 57 kg and 62 kg categories, despite settling for silver medals on the second day of the Asian Wrestling Olympic qualifiers in Almaty.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will rise up to a maximum of 18 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have a partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 17 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 32 degrees. Leh is expected to have a partly cloudy sky with maximum temperature of around 9 degrees Celsius. Minimum temperature was -3 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have a generally cloudy sky. Temperature will rise from a minimum of 9 to a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is likely to have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of light rain. Maximum temperature will be around 26 degrees Celsius. In national capital Delhi, sky will be clear. Maximum temperature is expected to be 38 degrees Celsius. Mumbai with a partly cloudy sky is expected to see a maximum temperature of around 33 degrees Celsius. It registered a minimum of 24 degrees. Chennai is also expected to have a partly cloudy sky with temperatures moving from a minimum of 26 to a maximum of 35 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. 4-day-long special vaccination drive Tika Utsav progresses smoothly across the country. Prime Minister urges people to follow 4 principles: each one vaccinate one, each one treat one, each one save one, and people-led creation of micro-containment zones to fight the pandemic. India becomes fastest vaccinating country in the world. Administers over 10 crore doses of COVID-19 vaccine in 85 days. Delhi government bans all gatherings except marriages and funerals till 30th April. Public transport and cinema halls to operate with 50% capacity. Campaigning in full swing for the 5th phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. Election Commission prohibits entry of politicians in violence-hit Cooch Behar district of West Bengal for 72 hours. 5 terrorists killed in 2 separate encounters with security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. And in IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad to clash with Kolkata Knight Riders this evening. And with that, we end the midday news.